In this third video, I'm going to be building the stern of the ship. I originally thought the tower fit on top of the stern. Upon examining the instructions, see that the tower and the bridge fit on another separate piece. So I'm kind of violating my rule of going front to back. Well, onto the stern. As you can see, this pack is fairly small. And looking through the instructions for the stern, maybe that's some detail work. After that, it looks like it's really only about 5 panels of build. You got these 4 here, you got this one here, and then you're onto the detail sprues for the kit. In the instructions, chronologically, even though again I'm going from the bow to the stern and then up, the instructions in the middle have the tower and the bridge and whatnot. So mainly because I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to build the bridge today, I'm going to go ahead and just get that stern done. Also, I guess part of me just wants to see the final length of this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put the instructions back over there, and then I'm going to go and inventory the pack and make sure that I have all the sprues and parts that I'm going to need. All the sprues are accounted for. This is going to be a little bit easier than the bow, not only because there appear to be just fewer pieces, but there are no bendy pieces. That is to say, there's none of the thinner stock that actually has to be bent. We got these little accent strips that go on the bottom the same way they did on the straights or those middle sections. But essentially, for the actual structural build, it's really only 3 sprues. So I'm going to go ahead and get the M sprue pieces together, which is the structural, unseen part of the build, and then I'll get the decking and the sides on. Those sprues went together very quickly. Everything was very cleanly cut or lasered through on the sprue. I'm going to go ahead and I guess the directions are a little bit different than I thought. I was looking down the end sprue, the red pieces. We're going to go ahead and go on before the decking for this particular piece. I don't know why I have such an issue balancing that stupid tablet. So as I said, these are just going to kind of angle around what I've already built there rather than having any kind of soft bends. So I'll pop those out and be back. Just so you can see how easy this part's really going together. I mean, I would say even more so than the straights or the middles. Because the pieces aren't keying the side, I mean, everything came out very clean other than just the little standard sanding that I've been doing on those. But these pieces, you're basically just putting them in, and then they're kind of making a little butt joint for now right here. I haven't put any glue in there. I may run a little bit down once I get the decking on top. But this stage is going so fast, I'm debating whether I'm going to go ahead and roll this right into the video with the tower. That is to say, have the entire stern with everything all together, because it really seems to be going quite fast. But we'll see how it goes, and I should be back with the rest of these red outer pieces all put together. So very easy and very quick. All I need to do now, again, you can see how easy this particular pack's sprues are coming out, and like I said, the little sprue connectors there where it was not lasered all the way through. I'm just taking a small flat file and going over them, and there you go. So I'm going to be gluing around the edge on this. I don't see any indication specifically of where the glue should go. Obviously, this little panel here that's going to be holding it up, I'm going to put a bead down there. The rest of them will be putting around the sides here, and then on these tabs and across here for where it keys in. I'll get this deck on, and probably also, unless there's some kind of unusual issue, I'm going to go ahead and trim these out and throw those on, so when I come back basically the entire step should be done. I may even throw these supports on, which are going to go around the various railings there. So again, super quick build for this section so far. After putting it together, it was acting up just a little bit, not wanting to cinch on both sides. I did go ahead and wrap a ring of painter's tape all the way around to kind of cinch the red pieces right up against the decking. So all the end sprue pieces are now snugged up there tight, but then I did go ahead and get a clamp because I was getting a little bit of light through the spacing right there at the very back. So because these need to go down here at the bottom, and I've now wrapped this in tape and I've got this clamp on here, I am going to wait for this to dry before going ahead and putting on the J-sprue accent pieces, only because if I take the tape off, I could probably still keep it together with the clamp, but no reason to push my luck there. I'm going to go ahead and just let it dry. In the meantime, I'm going to go while it's drying, because I can still have full access to the top of the deck. I'm going to go ahead and add these L1 support pieces to the railing. I'm taking the pieces off the J-sprue, the little accent pieces. This is just another example. For sometimes the laser won't go quite all the way through. You see, you don't really see a cut line here. And I'm just doing the same thing I did on the other sprues that had the same issue. You just run the razor down the top to score them. On these, though, because they are so thin and potentially could tear, I also go down the back side and go ahead and get it cut all the way through. But most of these are, on this side, were coming out pretty easy. These two, a little bit more effort, but not a big deal, and the pieces should be on shortly. So there's a big value in dry fitting. The instructions will tell you to dry fit. I try to dry fit most of the parts to see if they're going to fit, unless they're ones that are going to be super tight that once I get them together, I think I may hurt them to pull it back apart. These strips I did not dry fit, which is why you're seeing a bunch of glue there and the glue on back of this thing. Because this is going to meet up with the, because this edge here is obviously going to meet up with the rest of the boat, the main bridge section. You can't have these things hanging over, or they're going to get all buggered up every time you connect. And just the fact that they're hanging over, just the fact that we get handled. So I put this piece on, and then this piece, then this piece, and I noticed there's no way to get these quite lined up there. This section here is a little bit too big. I probably left it a little bit big on purpose so you can cut it down to get a custom fit, but it keeps wanting to cinch one way or the other, so it's lined up with this one or this one, and then you get this extremely unattractive overhang. So to that end, I've peeled it back off on both sides, to keep it even. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this thing down just a little bit, and then do it to the other piece that is similar, because it's gonna ultimately have the same problem, as you can see there. Not at all a difficult fix, quite easy. Would have been a little bit easier had I followed through with the dry fit prior to adding the glue on, but so it goes. Cutting to do the trick. A little bit of extra white there. Of course, I've got some other white on here that needs to be tamped down with some paint or whatever from other cuts, so that shouldn't be a big deal. Wanted to point out, though, on these real thin ones, you can actually use scissors instead of a razor knife to get a slightly straighter cut. So that's what I've done in both of those. Because it delaminates the outer layer that has a little bit of the paint, or that has the paint rather, you will get a little bit of white. But as you can see, this is going to fit in. Whoops. No, it's on an angle, so it's not going to hang in there without the glue. But I'll get that glued up presently. Other than some touch-ups then, that is that. stern piece. I'm not sure. Again, they listed this one as advanced. I wouldn't say this was advanced. If they're calling the middle sections easy, I would call this easy as well. A couple adjustments need to be made here and there, and I guess maybe that's what would make it a little bit more of an advanced build, but quite quick and quite easy. Perhaps even quicker than the middle sections. Obviously, I had to do 2 of those, so it's hard for me to, distinguish how much time these things take. Though it shouldn't be, because I'm filming it and I could be looking at a clock, but it was a very quick piece. So, breaking my my rule from going front to back, I did skip ahead to the back here. The last section that I'm going to be doing, you can see the picture here, is the section in between the middle and the stern here, which is a base piece, but then it's basically like building a whole other MDF building on top of it. So that will certainly be a much more involved build than the last 3. Well, probably much more involved, quite honestly, than any of the parts that I've done thus far. So I'll see you then.